Hi, I'm Dave Sweet, and welcome back. Following along the project that we have going here. Last time we got together, we had Nate Fisher here from Taco, kind of giving his viewpoint on some of the home automation, features, lighting, sound, all those kinds of things that would go into a house. Today, I want to kind of follow through on that same topic and talk about thermostats. Again, as that project moves more towards the completion stage, we have to think about that unit that's on the wall, that thermostat, how we're going to interact with it. So I invited Jay Kress from ecobee Thermostat to come down here, and he can kind of walk us through what's available, and all different products out there. And I think it'd be very informative for those people following along to see what he has to say. Hey Jay, how you doing?
Good, good. Good to see you again.
All right, thanks for coming down.
Me.
All righty, all righty.
I'm just admiring this old mercury bulb thermostat here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do they even sell those anymore?
No, you cannot get those anymore, but I did bring another assortment of other thermostats here to take a look at.
Yeah, the old environmental issue there,
right.
So
in the old days, these were devices that were electromechanical and passive in nature, not very accurate, and they used this mercury bulb. Pretty cool design concept, but not very good for the environment.
Yeah. So things have changed over the years with thermostats and things like that.
A lot of choices out there.
So whether we've gone to more of a digital now, you're seeing the industry is
everything's pretty much digital, whether it's digital programmable or non-programmable.
Right.
So here's a simple digital thermostat that you guys offer.
Right.
One of the things you'll notice about these though is they have batteries.
Yeah.
Another thing that's either going to go bad over time, maybe even corrode, cause some problems. So it's something to think about. Do you want to be replacing batteries all the time?
Right.
Some of the other ones more modern these days don't utilize batteries at all.
Okay.
They're using the power from the HVAC unit, the 24 volts.
Okay.
And it's very small, and they're a lot more accurate, and they have a lot of other features that you're probably going to be looking for.
Yeah, well, what I'd really, in my envisionment of a thermostat, first of all, I don't want an air switch on there, the fan switch. I mean, I have hydronic heating. I do have 2 zones of air, but they're separate. That really bothers me is when you walk up to a thermostat, it says heat cool or heat, and then a fan switch when I'm doing radiant, So it's nice to either have a soft key or some non-programmable one that doesn't jump out at you right in the fan. Yep. And some kind of remote conductivity, how do I talk to it? How do I set a schedule without having to go up to there?
So remote access, right?
So
these days, a lot of the most popular thermostats are smart Wi-Fi thermostats, which gives you the ability to access your thermostat from anywhere in the world using a smartphone, your computer, or whatever else. All you have to have is Wi-Fi. And again, they're using the power right from the HVAC unit, so they're constantly powered, they're constantly in communication. And that provides you a lot of abilities like, hey, just being notified that your thermostat notices the temperature is changing the opposite of what it should be doing. Maybe there's a problem with your system. And if you're on the road traveling for business, it'd be nice to know there's a problem before you come home.
Okay, now I think you just said they're wired, so they're not battery operated like the other device in there. Okay, and it's better to be hardwired because then I don't have to worry about the batteries going dead?
So at ecobee, we like the hardwired for reliability aspect. So that way, as long as you've got your system is powered and the power's on, you're constantly talking with the HVAC system.
And then, so you could always see what's happening. Now, what do you do in like here, we're in New England, there's a lot of just heating only, so it's 2-wire. How do they work?
So that comes up from times. All the smart thermostats that are out there have to have that common power, or that common wire in the 24 volt power. So if you've only got 2 wires, and these have to have 3 to utilize that feature, there is a product from other manufacturer that actually allows you to bundle up, use 2 wires, but still have 3 to wire up to the HVAC system. Or to the thermostat.
So that's not a hindrance then. Just because I have 2 wires on an old, system in Boston doesn't mean I can't put a smart thermostat on it. Oh wow!
There's accessories out there. And they've been around for years. This isn't anything new. This is older technology. It's been around for decades.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things I never knew about. It's either if you either have a comment or you didn't, and that defines what product you pick based on the wiring that's there. So
And they're usually able to handle multiple stages of heat, multiple stages of heating only, cooling only, heat pumps, etc. Pretty much most of the equipment you're going to see out there.
I guess when they get into smarter, they can program it, you can set it, whereas some of the other kinds are relay logic or set programming or whatever's involved.
Yeah, so some of the older programmable thermostats that have been around for a long time, several years ago, the Department of Energy did some studies and found that that most programmable thermostats weren't even using a schedule. So the idea of having a programmable thermostat was to allow you to set a temperature for when you're home for comfort, and then have a different temperature when you're gone to save you energy.
Right.
But most of us have found that those thermostats tend to be tedious or too difficult to deal with. And they found that less than 20% of those thermostats were actually running schedules.
Ah, so in reality, no, it's just a pain in the neck thermostat.
That's right. And most of them get set to a permanent hold, either 72 for heat, 76 for cooling, et cetera, on and on.
Right. Okay.
But with the advent of smart thermostats now it's able to actually do a lot of different things. We found that over 80% of our users are actually using a schedule because we've made it simple for them.
And how's that? How do you...
Well, having the remote access, having an easy to use interface. So like with your spouse, your family, whatever is going to come to the thermostat face, it's going to have an interface that's easy for them to understand. One thing we've done is we make ours look like your smartphone. So as you pull your smartphone out, it has the same sort of interface, touch screen, buttons are similar, menu button. Much like, I mean, I've got an Android phone. Do you have an Apple phone?
Right.
So we could swap phones and probably figure out how to use them. Same thing with the interfaces. So having a mobile app, having an internet connection allows you to actually see your schedule and make adjustments as you go on, because your life changes routinely.
Yeah.
So as about every quarter, you know, your school schedule changes, maybe your golf league changes, whatever, it's seasonal, and so you want to make it easy to go in and adjust your schedule. And then there's some other features with occupancy sensing, geofencing, all that sort of technology that allows you to actually customize the scheduling to your lifestyle.
Okay.
So that's why more people use them.
Right. Yeah. In this house, I went with a Lutron, and they have some APIs and things like that we can work with. So.
Yep. And so ecobee, we have an open API. I think most of the other smart manufacturers have utilized that sort of access, and it allows other people to develop around it. So that's really the future.
Right.
Cloud computing, and it makes it a lot simpler for updates. So that's the other aspect, is that, you know, we're updating our firmware as we get to have more features, more benefits, or just to tweak optimization, make the performance better, or maybe there's some new technologies that we want to utilize, and we can update the software, send that right out to your thermostat, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to download it. You have to hit a button, and in seconds you have the current firmware.
Well, another thing that, you know, and when I was roughing in the wiring, I said, you know, as nice as some of these smart thermostats look, I wanted to put them behind the scenes, and so I ran wires out to remote locations, hopefully to the right place for sensors. I mean, do these smart thermostats work with remotes, or does
some do? And so one of the things about ecobee is that we've got these wireless room sensors, and you can have up to 32 attached to each thermostat. Oh, wow. And there's several features of that. One is it'll activate a smart home or away because of the occupancy sensing. It also can average all the sensors that you'd put around the house. So I noticed that in the far end of your house, you've got another room that has 2 external walls, and it's kind of walled off from the rest of the house. So depending on how that zone is, you may have differences in temperature, and so now you've got some averaging features. But one of the other things is you can actually select, either by the mobile app or on the thermostat, to be able to adjust by the calendar time. So home or away or night or sleep, tell those sensors to be activated or disabled. Okay, so it's not just, all right, I connected it, that's it, now I can choose when and where I want to listen to something? So you could deactivate the sensor on the thermostat, put it like in a closet or someplace that's not being useful, and use all the sensors as your temperature sensing features. Oh, wow. You know, this is all great information, Jay. Is there any little takeaways or anything else out there somebody should think about when they go to purchase a smart thermostat? Well, I think, especially if you're, in your case, if you're going to have multiple thermostats, there may be some trepidation with the extra added cost of going with a smart thermostat, but the ability to have them all linked together, I think, is a tremendous value. But also being able to have whether it's a heat or cool or whatever else, it's one decision instead of having to worry about which model am I using for what my application is. So these will handle pretty much anything. Well, I think that right there alone, again, I was informed, I'm not the only one living here, you know my wife, same thing, has to be able to interact with something, and so the more you can keep it universal, the better on that. So the advantage of having a smart thermostat too is that your app is the same whether you have 1 or 2 or 5 thermostats. They'll all interact the same. Perfect. And with ecobee, our app and our thermostat are identical. So when you pull your phone out, it has the same appearance as your thermostat.
Okay, so you're used to moving around the screen or navigating.
You don't have to learn one interface on the wall and a different one in your hand.
And all too often, somebody just creates an app after the fact, and here you go. So, well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for coming, Jay.
Thanks for having me in.
That was great.
Good to see you again.
Awesome.
Well, good luck in your decision.
All righty. That was great. Him coming down and explaining, the different kinds of thermostats here. I'm right at that decision point, in the process here, and really want to, hone in on which one makes the most sense and have the ability, remote sensors and control and doing all that. So that's awesome. So in the meantime, I'm going to fool with these. I'm going to make a decision, and if Jay's available again, we'll grab him and he'll come back and maybe dive into details, on a product or two. So thanks for coming.